Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Hold on now. Wait a minute, fellas. Wait a minute. I think it goes something like this. Whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Cause every time I turn around, there's something trying to keep me down. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Whoa, can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. When I look up, don't you know, burdens knocking at my door. So won't you come and take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Oh, come and take these burdens off of me. Off of me. Somebody come and take these burdens off of me. Off of me. Soon as I get up off the ground, my burdens knock me right back down. Can somebody take these burdens off of me? Off of me. Somebody take these burdens off of me, off of me. Somebody take these burdens off of me, off of me. Somebody take these burdens off of me, off of me. Well, off of me, off of me. Oh, off of me, off of me. Well, off of me, off of me. Get them off of me, off of me. Come and break the chain. Come and break the chain. Off of me. Get it off of me. Off of me. Get it off of me. Off of me. I need somebody. I need somebody. I need somebody. I need somebody to get this burden. To get this burden. Can somebody take these burdens off of me?
Hey guys. Bree, I guess somebody must be live because it's nobody in here. Hey Bree. Oh, you got DJ live. Got DJ live. Who else is live? I just want to get this stuff over with, so. Yeah, a lot of people live right now. All right, guys, let me go ahead on and start reading this grand jury testimony. This will give you a little bit All right, you ready? Hey, thank you guys. This is the last one for tonight. I'm going to be stopping and I'm going to Perspective, come on in here. Check your email. Oh, I forgot to send you the link. No, check your email. I send the link to your email. Okay, guys, let's get this going so I can go to bed. Let's get going so I can go to bed. Got kind of a headache. Me and my partner in crime gonna finish these. All right, guys. It's not that many people in here tonight, but we're gonna get this over with. The grand jury testimony of Lisa Van Allen, and this was done on May 29th, 2019, May 29, 2019. And this is the grand jury testimony of Lisa Van Allen. This is going to be interactive with her and I now because we're going to read these testimony of Lisa Van Allen. This is grand jury. This is before Mr. Kelly was even arrested. This is when they're going through their decision on whether or not to bring this case to with the indictment, to move forward with the indictment. This is all after all this other stuff. Well, it was a special, it says here, grand jury investigation 19 GJ 291 before the federal grand jury special January 2019 grand jury, and it was done on May 29, 2019 on a Wednesday. Let's see. And it says presented to Honorable John R. Launch Jr., United States Attorney, 219 South Dearborn Street. And it's going to be done by Angel Krul. She's the one that's doing the testimony of Lisa Van Allen. And it's going to be a witness, and it's going to be a direct examination, and then the examination by the grand jury. That's what's going to happen on this. Let me put the link in there. She says she's on her way here. So while we wait, you know what? I'm going to put my commercial on for the what do you call it? The Christmas, what do you call it again? What is it? The Christmas, what is it again? The Christmas, I got a brain fart. The Christmas contest. All of a sudden I got a brain fart. All right, let's see. Let's do this Christmas contest. Let's do the Christmas contest here. Let's see. All right, let's go look at this Christmas contest here. Let's see, is she here? Is she back here yet? Nope, she's not back here yet. So we'll do the Christmas contests link right here. So while we wait on her to come on in, we're gonna do the Christmas contests. Let's see. Most recent one. Let's see which one we're gonna do. Okay, let's go ahead and do this commercial. This is my Christmas contest commercial. While we wait on Missy here. Hey, girly, thank you for coming. But guys, don't forget to get into the contest. Guess what? I placed my order for my portrait. So when I get my portrait, you guys will get a chance to see. I got a picture of my mom. I got a picture of my daughter. I got a picture of myself. So I'm doing a 3-girl generation per photo. So that should be nice.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, guys, we get ready to do the grand jury testimony. Grand jury testimony of Lisa Van Allen. Okay, let's get rolling.
So wait, I'm not cruel. I am.
You are cruel. Yeah, it is.
Third 4-person.
No, it's only cruel and I could do 4-person.
And then witness.
No, I'll be the witness. You go ahead, be cruel and the other person.
Okay.
All right. All right, let me go ahead and read this. Grand jury having reconvened at 11:45 a.m. on the 29th of May, 2019, pursuant to adjournment met in closed session and the following proceeding were had herein.
You can remain standing for a minute.
Okay.
Can you raise your right hand? Okay. Do you solemnly swear that in the testimony you are about to give before the grand jury, you will speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Have a seat. The chair doesn't move, so you'll have to scoot up a little bit and try your best to speak into the microphone so the jurors in the back can hear you clearly.
Okay.
Okay. Good morning.
Lisa Van Allen, called as a witness herein, having been first duly sworn, disposes and said as follow: direct examination by Miss Cruel.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please state your name, then also spell it for the court reporter in front of you?
Okay. Lisa Van Allen. Lisavanallen.
By the way, you're doing a great job with the microphone. Everyone can hear.
All right, thanks.
How old are you, Lisa?
38.
Where were you born?
Hartford, Connecticut.
And what state do you currently live?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Did the government fly you up here to Chicago for your testimony today?
Yes.
Are you represented by an attorney?
Yes.
What's your attorney's name?
Gerald Griggs.
Did he come up with you to Chicago?
Yes.
And is he right outside of this room right now?
Yes.
Do you understand that at any time during the proceedings today, if you want to speak with Mr. Griggs, that you can just let us know and that we will take a break so that you can do that? Okay?
Yes.
Before your testimony today, did you and your lawyer meet with me or other investigators a few times to discuss the information that we have?
Yes.
Did we first come down to Atlanta and meet with you in Atlanta?
Yes.
And was that in April sometime?
Yes.
And did we meet again with you yesterday?
Yes.
And then again this morning, did we meet with you again?
Yes.
Now, ultimately, did all of us work together to create a written statement to read to the grand jury today?
Yes, we did.
And when we read it together yesterday and also today, did you make changes to it to make sure it was true and accurate?
Yes.
And after it was all done, did you review the statement one final time for its truthfulness and accuracy?
Yes.
And after reviewing it, did you sign and date the last page?
Yes, I did.
In front of you, I've placed a copy of the statement. It's marked Government Exhibit Grand Jury Exhibit 63. Do you recognize that document?
Yes, I do.
And is that the statement that we worked on together?
Yes.
If you turn to the very last page of the statement, could you let us know if that's your signature on the last page?
Yes, it is.
Now it's your choice. It's up to you if you would prefer that I read the statement or you can read the statement yourself. Just let us know which one you prefer.
I prefer for you to read the statement.
Okay, I will do that for you.
Thank you.
It's titled Grand Jury Statement of Lisa Van Allen. My name is Lisa Van Allen, and I am currently 38 years old. I was born on June 11th, 1980. In June 2008, I testified at a child pornography trial of Robert Kelly in the Circuit Court of Cook County, Illinois. Before my testimony in April of 2008, I was provided with immunity from the United States Attorney's Office for the Northern District of Illinois relating to child exploitation and acts of concealment associated with child exploitation. In May of 2008, I also received immunity in the Circuit Court of Cook County, Illinois. I understand that under my immunity agreements, I am still required to give complete, truthful, and accurate testimony. I understand that if I do not give complete, truthful, and accurate testimony, that my statements may be used against me in a criminal prosecution. Do you understand that all of that is true in that paragraph?
Yes.
I met Robert Kelly in late 1997 or early 1998 in Alpharetta, Georgia, when I was 17 years old. Robert is a famous R&B star who goes by the stage name R. Kelly. A photograph of Robert is attached to this statement as Grand Jury Exhibit 33. Do you recognize the person in Grand Jury Exhibit 33?
Yes.
And who is that?
Robert Kelly.
And were all the facts that I read in the paragraph true?
Yes.
I met Robert at a video shoot for a music video for
But she
his
lied.
song.
Hold on. But she lied.
Definitely lied about her age already.
But she said it's true. Oh my God. Oh my God.
But they're rolling with the theme that she made a mistake.
No, but she lied. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. I met Robert at a video shoot for his music video for his song Home Alone. I was an extra in that music video. During a break at the video shoot, I was approached by a man who claimed to be Robert's cousin, and he told me that Robert wanted to meet me. I later learned that the cousin went by the name Blackie. A photograph of the person I know as Blackie is attached to this statement as a Grand Jury Exhibit number 36. Do you recognize the person in Grand Jury Exhibit number 36?
Yes.
Who is that?
That's Blackie, his cousin.
Is everything I read in the paragraph true?
Yes.
Blackie brought me to Robert and we talked for a little while. Robert asked me how old I was and I told him I was 17 years old. Yeah, okay. He then asked me if my mother would let me come to Chicago after the video shoot was over. I told him yes. Robert also asked me if I had a boyfriend and I said no. After talking for a while, Robert asked me if I wanted to go to his tour bus. I said yes, and we talked for some more on the bus. All of a sudden, Robert started kissing me, and we ended up having sexual intercourse. Afterwards, Go ahead.
How do you end up having sexual intercourse?
All of a sudden. Okay. Afterwards, I stayed on the tour bus while Robert went back to finish the music video. He came back to the bus to check on me, and Robert and I exchanged phone numbers. That's when I let him know my name. No. After that, I left to go home. Are all the facts in that paragraph true?
Yes.
About a month later, when I was still 17.
Wow. A month later.
I was still 17. Okay. I called Robert
using. You're lying because in June you were 18. The video was in August, September, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you're still 17, and you're in grand jury telling a lie. Okay.
About a month later, when I was still 17, I called Robert using the number that he gave me. Pretty quickly, he asked me when I could come to Chicago. I told him I could come whenever he wanted me to come. Robert put me in contact with his assistant, June Brown, to help me make my travel arrangements. A photograph of June Brown is attached to this statement as Grand Jury Exhibit 39. Do you recognize the person in Grand Jury Exhibit 39?
Yes.
Who is that?
June Brown.
Are all the facts in that paragraph I just read true?
Yes.
Okay. June sent me money to buy the plane ticket for the flight to Chicago, and I flew to Chicago in early 1998 when it was still winter. So I just want to interrupt and say she booked her own ticket as a 18-year-old.
Hello.
Okay. when it was still winter. Robert had a limousine pick me up at the airport in Chicago, and I was taken to a hotel. After dropping my stuff off at the hotel, June picked me up and brought me to Robert's recording studio, Chicago Tracks, located on Larrabee Street in Chicago. Are all of those facts true?
Yes.
This first trip to Chicago was a short trip, probably less than a week or so. During my time in Chicago, Robert and I had sex multiple times. We also did other things like go to eat, hang out at the studio, and I went with him when he went to play basketball. I then flew back to Atlanta. When I got home, Robert kept calling me and asking me that I come back to Chicago. Were all of those facts true?
Yes.
Not long after that, Robert flew me back to Chicago at least one more time when I was still 17.
Had it. Ooh, child. Okay.
I ultimately stayed in Chicago permanently because Robert didn't want me to go back home to Atlanta, and he would make me miss my flights back home. I told him that I needed to go home to work and that if I kept missing my flights, that I would get fired. Robert's solution was to just give me money so that I could stay with him in Chicago and not have to work. I ended up quitting my job and staying in Chicago. This happened approximately right before summer of 1998. I ended up staying with Robert in Chicago until sometime in 2001 when I went back home to Atlanta to live. During the time I lived with Robert in Chicago, Robert paid for all of my living expenses and I was completely dependent on him financially. All of those facts are true?
Yes.
Okay. During the time I was with Robert, I sometimes traveled with him when he was on tour to various video shoots and to other music related events. In particular, I traveled with him on the Get Up on a Room tour and I performed with him during the concert. There was a scene during the concert where Robert would pretend to pick a random girl from the crowd and to come up on stage with him, but in reality, it was staged and he would pick me instead of some random girl. When I got up on the stage, there was a bedroom scene where we would pretend to have sex at the end of the concert. Are all of those facts true?
Yes.
I also appeared in another music video with him. This was for his song I Wish. There are scenes in the music video where I am sitting on the front steps of the house with him, braiding his hair. Are those facts true?
Yes.
During my time in Chicago, I primarily lived at Robert's recording studio called Chicago Tracks. I also stayed on his tour bus and lived in various hotels, including the Holiday Inn. Robert and I had sex regularly, sometimes up to 3 times per day, and I thought of him as my boyfriend. Robert wanted me to call him daddy during sex, and he had lots of fetishes. He also liked to videotape us having sex. He would coach me during sex, telling me how to position my body, what to say to him, how to moan, and other things like that. Are all those facts true?
Yes.
Robert also convinced me to have threesomes with him and other women and girls. I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to share with him with other women. I'm sorry, with other people, but I went along with it to please him. One of the people that Rashana, I'm sorry, one of the people
That's what it
that
says.
Rashana wanted me to have, huh?
That's what it says.
Okay, I thought I was tripping. One of the people that Rashana wanted me to have, that Robert wanted me to have a threesome with, was a girl named Rashana Landfair. I remember 3 different times that I had a threesome with Robert and Rashana. A photograph of Rashana Landfair is attached to this statement as Grand Jury Exhibit number 34. Do you recognize the person in Grand Jury number 34?
Yes.
Who is that?
That's Rashana Lansfair.
And are all the facts in this paragraph I just read true?
Yes.
I first met Rashana sometime in 1998. Robert told me that Rashana was a neighbor and that she was 16 years old. Hey, so let's do some calculating because at this point,
It's
is it really 98 or
1999.
is it 99?
Yeah, it's got to be 99. It's not 98.
So it's 99. So, oh, doesn't that change all the calculations on everything they're doing? Let's see. So in 99, she had to be 17, not 16, right?
Who?
Rashana.
No.
Well, this says I first met Rashana sometime in 98. Robert told me that Rashana was a neighbor and that she was 16 years old.
Yeah, she was 16.
Okay.
But remember, Rashana was born in 1980. Was it when we kept reading
84. 84. She's born in 84. She's a year younger than me.
So.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, I'll keep on going, but I just wanted to keep the numbers in mind. Okay. But I later found out that she was younger than that. On the day I met Rashana, Robert brought me to his house. Nope, get out. On the day that I met Rashana, Robert brought me to his house on George Street in Chicago. When we got there, we went down to the lower level where Robert had a room that looked like a log cabin because it had wood on the walls. There was a hot tub down there, and this room could be locked from the inside to secure it from the rest of the house. Robert left me in that room and went back upstairs. When he came back down, he had Rashana with him. The first thing Robert did was set up a video camera. He put the video camera on the stand and he directed Rashana and me where to sit and what to do. After Robert set up the camera, the three of us then had sex. While we were having sex, it appeared to me that this wasn't the first time that Rashana had sex with Robert because she seemed to already know what to do, how to please him. A photograph of the log cabin room with the hot tub where I had sex with Robert and Rashana is attached to this statement as Grand Jury Exhibit number 35. Do you recognize the room there depicted in Grand Jury Exhibit number 35?
Yes.
Is that the room that you had sex with Rashana and Robert in?
Yes.
Are the facts that I've read in this paragraph true?
Yes.
Another time I had a threesome with Robert and Rashana happen in a different room in the same house on George Street. That night, Robert and I had attended an award ceremony together. I dressed up for the event and I felt like a princess because it was a very romantic night out with him. After the event, he drove us back to his house on George Street. As soon as we walked in, Robert yelled upstairs for Rashana to come down. He called her Show, and Rashana came down the stairs and the three of us went to Robert's basketball court. I was devastated because I thought that Robert and I were having a special night together and I didn't want to involve Rashana. Robert moved a futon mattress into the basketball court and he set up the video camera so that it pointed at the futon mattress. Robert told us to take off our clothes and the three of us had sex. He made us call him daddy and he gave us commands on what to do and we did what we were told. I started crying uncontrollably while we were having sex because I didn't want to have a threesome and because Robert ruined our special night together. Robert got upset that I was crying and said that he couldn't use that footage and watched a video of me crying during sex. Are all of those facts true?
Yes.
So they always made this one seem like the first time, and it wasn't even the first time.
Mm-hmm.
The whole crying.
Yeah.
Okay. A third time that I had a threesome with Robert and Rashana happened in the year 2000 in Chicago during the video shoot for the music video A Woman's Threat.
Which
Woman's
Threat, if you check that out, it was done in 2002 or 2001. Go check it out. A Woman's Threat video.
I was on the set for that video, but I wasn't actually in the music video itself. At one point during the filming of the video, Robert and I went back to his trailer and Rashana was there. The three of us had sex and he filmed it. Afterwards, some people Okay, go out there. Don't come back in here. Thank you. Sorry. I was on the set for that video, but I wasn't actually in the music video itself. At one point during the filming of that video, Robert and I went back to his trailer. Rashana was there. The three of us had sex and he filmed it. Afterwards, some people knocked on the door of the trailer and Robert told Rashana to run into the bathroom because she was still naked. Are those facts true?
The music video was done in 2002, y'all.
Mm. And are those facts true?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Also, in the year 2000, I found out Rashana's real age. She just happened to mention one day that she was getting a PT Cruiser for her 16th birthday. When I heard that, I started freaking out inside because by that time, it had been about 2 years since I had my first threesome with her and Robert. So that would have meant that she was only 14 years old when we had that first threesome. I never had another threesome with her after that. Are those facts true?
Yes.
In the year 2000, Robert got me pregnant. When I told Robert, he made me take a pregnancy test in front of him. When the test came back positive, Robert asked me what I wanted to do. I told him I wanted an abortion. Robert's assistant, June Brown, made the appointment for me, drove me there, and posed as my uncle when we filled out the paperwork. Robert paid for the abortion. Are those
Pose as your
facts
uncle. You was a
true?
grown woman.
Huh?
Pose as your uncle. You was a grown freaking woman.
A grown woman, and you made a choice, and I failed to believe that she made this choice. She's money hungry. Why would she give up her cash cow?
Okay, who's this public interviews? Who is
Public. Who are you?
this? Okay, let me remove them.
And there they went. Okay. Robert was very controlling. So controlling, he let you make a decision on whether you wanted a baby or not. Okay, anyway. Robert was very controlling. He wouldn't allow me to speak to other men, and he would forbid them to speak to me. He told me that I should keep my eyes straight when other men were in the room so that I wouldn't look at them. He controlled that. He controlled what clothes that I wore. He didn't like for me to wear form-fitting clothes when I went out in public with him, and he made me change into baggy clothes. There were consequences if you didn't follow Robert's rules. One time, towards the beginning of our relationship, I spoke to one of his male friends, and Robert smacked me. I started crying, and Robert told me that he loved me, but that I had to listen to Daddy. Another time, while we were on his tour bus, one of Robert's male friends said something funny, and I laughed and replied back with something funny. Robert grabbed me out of my seat, brought me to the bathroom, and started spanking me until I cried. Afterwards, he again told me that I needed to listen to Daddy. Huh?
I said, oh, Lord.
Sounds like a Lizette's story.
Sure does.
Are all of those facts true?
Yes.
Okay. Do you need to take a moment? Would you like a glass of water?
Yes.
Here you go.
After a short break that was had, the following proceedings were held accordingly.
Okay. Here you go.
Thank you.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Okay for what? All she doing is sitting there. I'm reading.
I just love our commentary in between it.
Stupid. Okay. Robert almost always had a duffel bag with him wherever he went. I saw him with a duffel bag at the recording studio, at the gym, on the tour bus, on various hotels and other places. I looked inside the bag and saw that it was full of VHS tapes. I didn't count how many tapes were there, but there were definitely more than 10 tapes. in the bag. One day in approximately 2001, Robert had left me alone in the studio with the duffel bag of tapes. The tape showed Robert having sex with different girls and women. I searched through the tapes until I found one that had me, Robert and Roshana on it, engaging in a threesome. Are those facts true?
Yes.
I remember that this particular tape had 3 different sex scenes on it. The first sex scene showed Robert and Roshana only, without me on it. This scene was in a room with a black and white chess and checkerboard pattern on the floor that I recognize as being in Robert's living room on George Street in Chicago. The second scene also showed Robert and Roshana only, again without me on it. This scene was in the bedroom, and Roshana was wearing white lingerie that I believe belonged to Robert's wife, Drea. How would you know that? How would you know that? The third sex scene showed me, Robert, and Roshana having sex in the log cabin room with the hot tub at his home on George Street in Chicago. Are all those facts true?
Yes.
Okay. I took the tape out of Robert's gym bag because I didn't want him to have it. I didn't like that he made me have threesomes with other girls, and I didn't want him to have a videotape of me doing that. I was really scared and nervous when I took the tape because I thought that he would catch me with it. I brought the tape back to the Holiday Inn Hotel where I had been staying. There, I decided to give the tape to my friend Keith Morrell for safekeeping. Keith was in the music group Talent. Keith worked for Robert, and I trusted him. I knew Keith was from Kansas City, and I wanted the tape to be far away so that Robert wouldn't find it or catch me with it. A photograph of Keith Morrell is attached to this statement as grand jury exhibit number 37. Do you recognize the person in exhibit 37?
Yes.
Who is that?
Keith Morrell.
And are all of the facts in this paragraph I just read true?
Yes.
I stayed with Robert until sometime in 2001. When I went back home to Atlanta to live, I met someone else. I had a baby and tried to put my past with Robert behind me. Things got hard for me in Atlanta, and I actually went back and lived in Chicago for a while with my daughter after she was born. Robert helped us with our expenses. I didn't stay in Chicago very long, and I went back to Atlanta. Over the next several years, I kept in touch with Robert on and off, and I sometimes still had sex with him. Sometimes Robert would come to Atlanta and I would have sex with him there. One of those times, I kept a Rolex watch that Robert had left in the hotel room. The last time I had sex with Robert was in 2007.
Yeah, exactly, Alvera. She didn't mention anything about mailing it to him because remember Keith was staying at the hotel as well with the same hotel.
Are those facts true?
Yes.
I knew that Robert got charged with child pornography offenses in 2002, but I didn't want to get involved because I had a new life and didn't want to relive all of those memories. Someone who was so traumatized continued to have sex with him until 2007, knowing what she knew, right?
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
Okay.
Exactly.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, I'm cold. I need to go put on my pajamas and
Okay.
get warm.
Sometime in early 2007, I found out that Keith still had the video tape that I gave him. I heard that he was trying to sell it or shop it around to different media sources. One that I remember is Kimora Lee Simmons. So how did you hear that? Who did you hear that from? Did Kimora call you?
Around.
I mean, did Kimora call her and say, hey, your friend Keith is shopping this video with you?
Exactly.
No. I got really scared and upset because I didn't want that videotape of me engaging in a threesome to be released publicly. By this point, I knew that a different videotape of Robert and Roshana had been leaked to the public, and was available on the streets for anyone to buy and see. I was terrified that the tape of my threesome with Robert and Roshana would also be leaked to the public like that. I didn't know what to do. I was scared, and I told my then fiance about it. Are those facts true?
Yes.
My fiance reached out to Robert about the situation. Robert flew me to Chicago to meet with him at his home in Olympia Fields, Illinois. When I got there, I had to strip down so that he could see that I was not recording him. Robert asked me questions about the videotape, and he offered me $250,000 to try and get it back from Keith. Robert said that I could divvy up the money however I needed in order to get the tape back. Robert told me that I would be contacted by Daryl McDavid and that Daryl would handle all of the arrangements. I knew Daryl McDavid to be Robert's accountant and business manager. A photograph of Daryl McDavid is attached to the statement of the grand jury as grand jury exhibit number 40. Do you recognize this exhibit?
Yes.
Who is that?
Daryl McDavid.
And are all of the facts that I read in this paragraph true?
Yes.
After that meeting with Robert, I contacted Keith. He was afraid to deal directly with Robert. He still had the tape, and he agreed to fly to Chicago with me to return the tape. This was in the spring of 2007. Wait, she last had sex with him in 2007. What was it? Winter? And now this is spring? What?
Okay, I want to play something. Hold on. Let me play something.
Wait, when did she get a fiance if she was still messing with him?
Hold on. I want to play something. Listen to this, y'all.
She says she took the tape and gave it to someone for safekeeping. Years later, she says she had R. Kelly try to get it back.
But it wasn't her in regards to the money, because she said he ain't gonna pay nothing because he ain't never paid her nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that I did it, but when I saw the tape, he was gonna pay her something.
Brown says footage of Van Allen never went public.
Yep.
You heard that? That was Brown. Yul Brown said he gonna pay her something.
I mean, but let's listen to this one more time. She was still having sex with Robert in 2007.
Yes.
Where did this fiance come from, and how long were they fiance? Because also in 2007, these deals about the video came up, and she had her fiance contact him.
Because he wanted to blackmail him. He wanted to extort him. Okay. Come on now, stop.
So I'm like, did he dump her in 2007? She got mad. And she pulled out her collateral. I mean, like, what happened here? Okay. When we got to Chicago, Robert's personal assistant, June Brown, drove us to an attorney's office on Jackson Street in downtown Chicago. The building he brought us to is actually across the street diagonally from the courthouse where I am testifying right now. It has a coffee shop on the first floor, and it is across the street from a Dunkin' Donuts. Are all those facts true?
Yes.
When we got to the building, Keith and I met Daryl McDavid in an attorney's office. Daryl and I watched the videotape that Keith brought to Chicago. It was the tape that I described above that had 3 different sex scenes on it. 2 scenes with just Robert and Roshana, and 1 scene with me, Robert, and Roshana. When Daryl watched the tape, he was most interested in the parts that showed Roshana and the multiple references to her 14-year-old pussy. Daryl kept the tape after we watched it. He questioned Keith and me about whether there were other copies of the tape. Daryl then took me to someone in the same building who gave me a lie detector test. I was asked questions about who I gave the tape to and how many copies of the tape were made. I told them that I had given the tape to Keith and that I hadn't made any copies. I passed the lie detector test. Are those facts true?
Yes.
To prepare for my testimony today, a prosecutor showed me a polygraph examination consent form dated March 23rd, 2007, which is attached to this statement as a grand jury exhibit number 42.
She said March 27, 2007.
March 23rd, 2007.
But wait, hold up. Didn't she say she was having a relationship with Mr. Kelly until when?
April.
So on March 23rd, she was still having a relationship with him when she was doing the lie detector thing?
Well, no, actually, I think it said spring, or did it say April? Let me scroll back up a little bit.
Spring starts when? April.
January. December, January, February is winter. March, April, May is spring. March, April, May is spring. June, July, August, summer. So yeah, March, April, May is spring. Okay.
All I'm saying, she was still in a relationship with him.
She was still sleeping with him, even with the fiance and so on and so forth.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I recognize my signature at the bottom of that form. This is the form that I had to sign before taking the lie detector test. Looking at the grand jury exhibit 42, is that your signature on the form?
Yes.
I know that Keith was also giving a lie detector test in Chicago. I learned that Keith failed his lie detector test because he denied making any copies when he really did make a copy. Are those facts true?
Yes.
During this meeting in Chicago, Daryl gave me approximately $20,000 in cash, and he also gave Keith approximately $20,000 in cash. He told us that we would each receive an additional $80,000 when we returned with our copy of the tape that Keith had made. That would be a total of $200,000. Even though Robert had said he would pay $250,000 for the return of the tape, Daryl said that he would pay the remaining $50,000 after the trial was over. Are those facts true?
Yes.
Sometime later in 2007, Keith and I returned to Chicago. We met with Daryl again. Keith brought with him another copy of the tape, and he gave it to Daryl. We both had to take a lie detector test at the same building as before. This time Keith passed, and so did Keith, and so Keith got his $80,000. To prepare for my testimony today, prosecutors showed me a polygraph examination consent form dated April 20, 2007. Which is attached to this statement as grand jury exhibit number 43. Look, the polygraph test was April 20th.
Exactly.
Okay. I recognize my signature as...
I don't even understand the whole big error that they made. See, somebody didn't pay attention.
We got to go back through this and highlight dates. Because, what?
Ooh, okay.
I recognize my signature at the bottom of this form. This is the form that I had to sign before taking my second lie detector test. Looking at the grand jury exhibit 43, do you recognize your signature on that exhibit?
Yes.
And are all of the facts that I read in the paragraph true?
Yes.
Even though I passed the second lie detector test, Daryl wouldn't give me the full $80,000. He got angry with me and said that if it wasn't for me, they wouldn't have had to pay Keith $100,000. He belittled me and he would only give me $50,000, not $80,000. I took the money and went back to Atlanta. Are those facts true?
Yes.
Daryl made me come back to Chicago a third time before he would give me the rest of my money. I had to take a third lie detector test at the same building given to me by the same man. This time he asked me different questions than the questions he asked me the first few times I took the test. These questions weren't just yes or no questions, and the questions were about things like how much money I had in my bank account. I failed this test. Are those facts true?
Yes.
To prepare for my testimony today, prosecutors showed me the polygraph examination consent form dated July 26, 2007, which is attached to this statement as grand jury exhibit number 44. I recognize my signature. Question. Okay. I recognize my signature at the bottom of that form. This is the form that I had to sign before taking my third lie detector test. Looking at the grand jury exhibit 44, is that your signature on that page?
Yes.
And are all the facts that I just read in that paragraph true?
Yes.
After I failed the test, Daryl cursed at me and accused me of being disloyal. He threatened me and told me that he should have murked me from the beginning, which I understood to mean that he was saying he should have killed me. I got very upset and began to cry. I didn't have any copies of the tape, and I didn't know why he was threatening me. He eventually gave me $30,000. Are those facts true?
Yes.
Daryl told me that I would have to talk to a lawyer upstairs in the same building and denied ever having sex with Roshana Lamphere. Daryl took me upstairs and waited in the hallway as I went inside an office and met with the lawyer. In addition to the lawyer, another man was taking notes. They also had a video camera that was taping me. During that interview, I had to deny ever having sex with Roshana Lamphere. I cried during the interview. The lawyer asked me if I wanted to come back another day, but I said I wanted to get it over with so that I wouldn't have to come back anymore. Even though I knew it wasn't true, I denied ever having sex with Roshana Lamphere because that's what Daryl told me to say. I knew that Daryl was waiting outside of the office I was in. Are those facts true?
Yes.
After that meeting, June drove me back to my hotel. I was hysterical, crying and upset. Why? Because you didn't get $20,000? Because that's the only reason you crying. And I told June that Daryl had threatened me. I also told Daryl that I was going to call Rob and tell him that Daryl threatened me, and Daryl told me that Robert already knew everything that was going on. Are those facts true?
Yes.
I went back home to Atlanta and I was very upset that Daryl had threatened my life. I decided that I needed to contact the prosecutors in Robert's child pornography case. So wait, a second ago she was going to tell on Daryl McDavid to Robert, but since he knew, let me call and just tell the prosecutors on him then. He was our savior and then he was the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. By this time, it was early 2008. I told them about my relationship with Robert, the threesomes with Roshana, how I took one of Robert's videotapes, and more. After I met with the prosecutors, Robert sent his private investigator to Georgia to interview me. My fiance and other people who knew me, they conducted surveillance of me and even took photographs of me. Are those facts true?
Yes.
Despite feeling intimidated and scared by Robert's people, I ended up testifying about my relationship with Robert at his trial in 2008. During the trial, I identified Roshana and Robert in a video showing them having sex in a log cabin room at his house on George Street. That video was different from the video that I took from Robert's duffel bag. Are those facts true?
Yes.
After Robert was found not guilty at his trial, I went back to my life in Atlanta. Recently, in the last couple of years, Robert has been in the news a lot regarding allegations of sexual misconduct. I am still friends with Keith Morrell on Facebook. In October of 2018, I asked Keith on Facebook Messenger if there were any additional copies of the videotape that I took from Robert. He responded, quote, yeah, 100. Chuck said he still got it. Chuck is
Whoa,
Chuck?
whoa. They didn't say that at the trial. Whoa. He did not say that. Oh my God.
That's funny. Chuck has 100 videotapes, huh?
Oh my God, we got to read the transcript from the trial.
Hmm. Chuck is a friend of Keith's, and I wasn't sure why Chuck would have a copy of the tape. Why was she okay with her tape going around with them? But yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
I asked Keith if he believed that Chuck really had a copy of the tape, and Keith responded, I don't know. You never know with him. I really don't talk to him for real. Photograph showing a portion of my Facebook Messenger messages with Keith is attached to this statement as grand jury exhibit number 45. And then turning to the second page, do you see at the top there where it says y'all never made a copy? Nobody? Uh, was that you asking him?
Yes.
And then where it says, oh yeah, 100. Chuck said he still got it. Was that Keith Morrell's response?
Yes.
And then a little further down where it says, do you believe him? Is that you asking that?
Yes.
And then below that, where it says, I don't know, where it says IDK, what does IDK stand for?
I don't know. Yes. It's also said, I don't know.
Okay. So it says, I don't know. You never know with him. I really don't talk to him for real.
Yes.
And that was Keith saying that.
Yes.
Were all the facts that I read in the paragraph true?
Yes.
This statement is just a summary of some of the things I have told the prosecutors. It doesn't include everything I told the prosecutors, and it isn't everything I know about the people and the events I talked about. If I were asked more questions about the topic in this statement, I might be able to remember more detail and give more information. Over the years, I have been interviewed many times about Robert, and I've always answered the questions to the best of my memory based on how the questions were asked. I may not always get the dates right, and certain events stick out in my memory more than others. Are all of those facts true?
Yes.
And again, that's your signature at the bottom.
Yes.
Dated today's date.
Yes.
That's the end of the statement. I'll open it up for questions now. Thank you very much for coming in today. I just had one question about the tapes in the duffel bag. Were the tapes labeled or marked in a way that you knew what scenes were on the tapes, or were they all just kind of blank VHS tapes that you just grabbed one and it happened to have the scene that you described?
They weren't labeled. I actually was popping them in until I came across mine. So it was multiple tapes of multiple sex act in different women and girls.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
It doesn't look like there are any more questions. May the witness be excused. Yes, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
You can step out now.
All right, that was her testimony, y'all. That was it.
Same bull we've heard, I guess. I couldn't see the comments. What y'all saying in the comments?
Yep.
Let's see.
All right, Keith said he didn't give anything to Chuck. Yep, that's what he said. But you know what? Their story changed so much that they couldn't even keep up with it themselves.
I'm kind of just like, how did Keith really get involved? How did he have 100 tapes? Like,
I believe she gave it to him while she was at the hotel. She didn't mail nothing over to him.
To Keith or to Chuck?
No, Keith.
Yeah, Yeah, and I mean, she didn't even mention in this grand jury statement that Keith was her boyfriend or baby daddy.
Mm-mm.
Isn't he her baby daddy?
Nope,
I thought she ended up having a baby with him.
not Keith.
Mm.
She was in a relationship with him, but she never had a baby by him. She had a baby by Pryor. Damien Pryor.
I guess I'm all thrown off. I really thought she had a baby with Keith as well.
No, Damien Pryor and Yule Brown.
Doesn't she have 3?
Two.
Mm.
Unless she had one recently. I don't know. She has 2 children, a girl and a boy, I think.
Mm. And the girl is the one that they had pictures of being bad on. Yeah.
Oh, Instagram. I mean on Facebook. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She just said in this reading that she gave the tape to Keith and explained how they stayed in the same hotel, which is how she knew Keith. Yep, over her. But see, in the testimony thing, she said she mailed it to him. Witness stand. Why? Okay, question. She says, why was they using it VHS to record the sex when in the 90s they had the small handheld camcorders? That's true. They had those little tapes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, y'all, but I'm about to go to bed. It's 11:49. Thank you so much, Perspective, for coming in and reading. Guys, we had a great night. We had a great time. I'm going to go to bed. I'm getting sleepy. And I thank you guys for being here. And I'll see y'all in the morning. Bye-bye. Toodaloo. Later. Alligator. Thanks again, Miss Perspective. Peace out.